built for it, yeah, I'm built for it. 10 toes down, I don't quit, I'm built for it. Haters talk.
What if I told you that one of the world's biggest alcohol companies, worth over $80 billion, allegedly tried to destroy Sean Diddy Combs using the federal government as their weapon? What if everything you thought you knew about Diddy's downfall was actually a cover-up for something much bigger? We're talking about Bad Boy Records, Biggie's catalog, Cîroc DeLeón, all of it almost gone forever. And the reason? A rumored $2 billion debt that Diageo supposedly owed Diddy. But here's where it gets crazy. What if the RICO case wasn't about justice? What if it was just about making sure Diageo never had to pay up? Let's go back to 2007. Sean Combs wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was becoming a business mogul. And Diageo saw an opportunity. Ciroc vodka was dead in the water. Nobody cared about it. But Diageo had a brilliant idea. Partner with the king of hip-hop culture. They gave Diddy a 50-50 partnership, not just to promote it, but to co-own it. And what happened? Ciroc went from zero to hero. From a forgotten vodka to the official drink of black excellence, luxury, celebration. By 2013, they trusted him so much that they made him co-owner of DeLeón Tequila too. Reports say Diddy made close to $1 billion from these partnerships over 15 years. But here's the question. Why would a company worth $80 billion need Diddy so badly if they could just market these brands themselves? And what happens when the culture you borrowed becomes more powerful than the corporation you represented? Was Diddy becoming too big for Diageo to control? May 2023, Diddy drops a bombshell lawsuit against Diageo that rocked the entire alcohol industry. This wasn't just about money. This was about respect. Diddy accused Diageo of racial discrimination. Diageo executives literally told him they didn't want his brands competing with mainstream luxury brands like Don Julio and Casamigos. Think about that for a second. The company that needed Diddy to save their dying vodka brand was now trying to keep it in a box? Diddy wasn't just asking for an apology. He was demanding billions in damages for breach of contract and discrimination. And Diageo, they didn't just deny it. They called his claims false and reckless. They accused him of trying to extort money. But here's what I want you to ask yourself. If this was really just a business dispute, why did Diageo respond like Diddy had declared war on their entire empire? What were they so afraid he might expose? And was this lawsuit about to uncover something Diageo desperately wanted to keep buried? Now, here's where the timeline gets interesting. Diddy files his discrimination lawsuit in May 2023, demanding billions. And then, almost like clockwork, the federal investigations start piling up. Sexual misconduct allegations, raids on his home, surveillance footage, witness testimonies. By September 2024, Sean Combs is facing RICO charges. Now, for those who don't know, RICO is serious business. It's designed to take down organized crime, the mafia, drug cartels, criminal enterprises. If you're convicted under RICO, the government doesn't just send you to prison. They take everything. Your houses, your cars, your businesses, your music catalogs, your bank accounts. Everything you've ever earned gets labeled dirty money and gets seized. So let me ask you this. Is it just a coincidence that right after Diddy demands billions from Diageo, the feds start building a case that could take away every dollar he's ever made? What if someone with deep pockets and political connections wanted to make sure Diddy could never collect what he was owed? What if the RICO case was never really about justice, but about protecting corporate interests? Let's talk about what Diddy stood to lose if that RICO case had gone differently. We're not just talking about personal wealth. We're talking about cultural legacy. Bad Boy Records, the label that gave us Biggie, his stake in Revolt TV, one of the few black-owned media companies, his share of Cîroc DeLeón, his real estate portfolio across multiple states. And here's the kicker. If Bad Boy Records was deemed part of a criminal enterprise, what happens to the artist contracts? What happens to Biggie's estate? What happens to the music that defined a generation? Taking down Diddy, this would be erasing a piece of black cultural history. So I have to ask, if Diddy really was owed billions from Diageo and that RICO had succeeded, would Diageo suddenly be off the hook for any settlement because their former partner is now a convicted criminal? Was this the perfect crime? Use the legal system to eliminate a business problem. Now, July 2025, the verdict comes in. And here's what shocked everybody. Diddy was not convicted of a RICO. The racketeering charges didn't stick. He was found guilty on 2 lesser charges related to prostitution. Legal experts said the government couldn't prove he ran an organized criminal enterprise. They said the RICO case was a stretch from the beginning. Diddy kept his assets. He kept Bad Boy. He kept his business empire. So if someone was hoping that a RICO conviction would make their business problems disappear, that plan just failed. Now ask yourself, if the RICO case was really about justice, why did it feel so rushed? Why did legal experts call it a stretch? And what happens now that Diddy still has all his assets and potentially still has a claim against Diageo? Companies this size don't just compete in the marketplace, they compete in courtrooms, in the halls of power. We've seen it before with big tobacco, big pharma, big oil. When corporations are threatened, they fight back with everything they have. So is it really that crazy to think that a company worth $80 billion would use every resource at their disposal to avoid a $2 billion payout? That they might have connections that could influence federal investigators? That they saw an opportunity to solve a business problem using the justice system? And that when the RICO case failed, their plan fell apart? I'm not saying it happened, but I'm asking, is it possible? If you made it this far to the video, please subscribe to my Patreon /BuiltForIt to learn how to get subscribers fast, AI tutorials, CapCut tutorials, and YouTube strategies, Instagram, TikTok strategies on how to go viral. Subscribe now and join the community of Built For It Academy. Patreon. Thank you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.